Great. So guys, let me just introduce myself and then of course have Christian with me. I'm Amitt. I head customer success at this fancy company called observe.AI, the likes of which you see the name there. And we've done good to add AI there, not to scare people in the room, because AI is associated with a lot of great and not so great things. But then the objective would be to talk you through what Observe is all about and how do we demystify AI. At some point of time, I'm going to be inviting Christian onto stage. Christian can just wave to you guys from right there. Christian heads the solution consultant arm for Observe AI, and he's going to be talking a great deal about the tech part of things. Now, I know the text there looks a little bit scrawny, but observe.ai got into the fray of things not too long ago. A couple of years that we've been there. Y-Combinator-backed partnership. If you know Y-Combinator, it's a premium, it's an incubator giant, and we're in good company there with brands such as Airbnb, Dropbox, Stripe. And the breakthrough moment for Observe AI was somewhere in March 2018, which is exactly about a year from now, where we raised a Series A capital of 8 million USD, and the company was at that point in time valued at 25 mil. We also started partnering with the first ever client, so as to say, which was Square, based in US. The next waterfall moment for observe.ai was this wonderful partnership that we embarked upon with PLDT here in Philippines, as well as TalkDesk in the US. And we are really grateful to both our founding partners, PLDT and TalkDesk, for the exposure that they allowed us to the market, plenty of learnings, and much of what we are today comes from these two partnerships. Also at the same time, we realized we need to expand, and we set up a footprint in Bangalore, in India, which is where today most of Observe AI's tech stack, the engineering, the machine learning teams are constituted. We are headquartered in the Bay Area in San Francisco, and this is a brief about us. The second part is, why do we exist? Why did a bunch of guys come together and think of spending a lot of time around speech analytics? Now we realize that this industry spends a lot of money on voice. Voice is an expensive channel, and getting just customer satisfaction or some low-hanging fruits of this channel is not good enough. What you need to do also in the world of tomorrow is maximize the ROI on the money that you spend, the dollars that you spend on voice. And how do we do that? Well, we could touch upon voice of customer. You could drive your customer experience initiatives. You might be wanting to get a feedback on your product from your very own customers. They call up, they complain, they talk about a lot of things, and it does give us a lot of actionable insights. We realize that in the world of tomorrow, in the speech channel of tomorrow, you have real-time support channels that would need real-time decision making driven by real-time analytics. So think of it. If we do not capture real-time analytics, there is no real-time knowledge coming out of it, and there is no real-time action. The complexity of conversations, one of the ways we realize this channel is going to evolve is the non-complex conversations are going to be handled by IVRs. The non-complex channels are probably going to be automated. The real value add is going to be on those conversations which are going to get more and more complex. The volume of conversations globally, statistically, has been going high. There is a need to do QA much more faster, much more reliable, and in a much more stable manner. So any process control, compliance control that you'd want to initiate would have to wade through tons and tons of data, because tons and tons of calls are going to generate tons and tons of data. Why observe? Why now? We realized as the first iteration of the product, what you see on the screen right now are three of the key problems that we did manage to solve. We solved the problem of non-compliance. It's an expensive problem to solve. Inefficient call quality analysis. We realized that if we were to separate QA and separate real actionable insights coming out of calls, not more than 1% of those calls were actually being analyzed for an actionable insight beyond pure QA. We also realized that poor customer satisfaction, sometimes up to 30% customers were not really happy with their exchange that they're having with their agents. And with that vision, with that line of thought, with that learning, we set aside some of the key differentiators that we today focus on. That's part of the product stack, as you'll see it soon. We realized that we can leverage the existing speech-to-text technology which is available, transcriptions as we call them, and not just rely on text pattern matching. People, those who are familiar with how relevancy works with term frequency inverse document frequency, would realize that you need to inject context into your understanding of conversations. So while a customer might say, hey, I was in terrible traffic today, but I love your product, we cannot take up terrible as a keyword and construe the entire conversation as something which was negative. Deep learning in NLU, we are going to demystify machine learning, deep learning, what is natural language processing, what is AI in the next few slides. I'm going to have Christian over on stage for that. So more on that in the next few slides. We are not here to replace the agent. We are just here to assist the agent and make the agent a super agent. Two reasons. We realize that's where most of the value gets added, and to be really honest with you, the kind of general level of intelligence needed, agents today with the current tech are irreplaceable for a really, really long time. All we need to do is make sure that we move them further along the value chain, and then these agents now are adding more value than they were ever before. And this tech is here to help them do that. QA, compliance, of course, our story is incomplete without talking about one of the first few problems that we started solving for auto QA, automating the entire quality assessment process, automating the compliance monitoring, and of course, ease of integration. It doesn't take a lot to bring this tech home. In the new world of programmable APIs and exposed nodes at different platforms, we can hit a customer go live in less than under a minute. So that's massive for this industry, which is used to very long integration cycles. At this point of time, I would just want to bring Christian up on stage. And Christian is literally the best guy to be talking about AI because of the time he's spent working with this tech. So Christian, over to you, mate.
Thanks, Amitt. So we're going to demystify AI because it's a big field. There's some fun parts, some scary parts. So let's talk through this. There's two major fields of AI today. The first is artificial narrow intelligence. And this is the AI that does things like speech recognition, or could do something like an autonomous car. This is powering your Google search. It's doing a very specific task. The other field of AI is AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. And this is the AI that can literally do anything that a human can do, maybe even better. This doesn't exist. We're at least 100, maybe 1,000 years away from anything AGI. All work today and all investment money going into the field today is going into artificial narrow intelligence to do very specific types of tasks. The most common type of AI, it's called machine learning. And the most common type of machine learning is supervised learning. Here's how it works. It's simple inputs to outputs that creates an application. For example, if we have emails, thousands of emails that are manually tagged as either spam or not spam, we can use that data to train a spam filtering AI. Same thing with audio and manual human text transcriptions. You feed it enough of those, and we can create a speech recognition AI. It can be used in farming, it can be used in manufacturing, like images of phones, whether or not they have defects, to automatically check for defects. These are very specific types of tasks, not general. What is it special about today that makes AI relevant when it didn't used to be? Simply the amount of data that we have. The more data that you can feed into an AI system, the more it learns, and the more it will be able to better handle something that it's never seen before. So traditional AI, you feed it more data, and it'll get better and better, but at a decreasing rate, because it caps out on computational power. But in the last few years, with Moore's law, doubling our computational power roughly every 2 years, we've been able to build more and more powerful AI to the point where now we have large neural networks along with big data, and we're at this point where the performance is actually quite good. And this point right here on the top right is just in the last couple of years. Let's talk about a couple big terms that get thrown around, sometimes together, sometimes separately. Machine learning versus data science. Machine learning is the field of study that gives computers the ability to learn and perform actions on their own without being explicitly programmed, so that they can handle something new that they haven't seen before. And the output of this is a software application, such as speech recognition. Data science, on the other hand, is the science of extracting knowledge and insights from information, from data. For example, if you're analysts, which you very soon will be calling data scientists, analyze information and create actionable presentations to executives like you to make decisions, that's data science. And the output is a slide deck. So data science can often use machine learning to get information. So how does deep learning actually work? Because it's a bunch of black magic inside. So like noted earlier, you start with inputs. So for example, in this case, if we're going to create a sentiment detection model so that in real time we can analyze the caller's sentiment, are they happy, are they sad, are they angry, neutral, we'll feed it data such as the utterance transcription, the audio, any other biometrics that we might have about them, context, what happened earlier and later in the call, what happened 2 calls ago, and any other information that we know. And that gets fed into what's called a neural network. And what you can think of is each of these gray dots is an individual neuron performing individual mathematical computations. And the way the data flows is like this. It passes through, and the AI figures out what's relevant, what's not, and why. So this is called an artificial neural network. It was originally designed off of our own human brains, but in reality it has nothing to do with the way we think. And inside of here is just a big math equation. And the more layers, the bigger you can create that neural net, the smarter it will be. And the end result is ambiguous sentences like dang, you guys are bad. It can figure out, did they mean that in a negative way? Did they mean that in a positive way? And you can get like real actionable insights. There's a lot of different tools in AI. Common ones, machine learning, data science, deep learning. But then there's a lot of other buzzwords like unsupervised learning or reinforcement learning, graphical models. There'll probably be 10 more of these by next week. But how do they all fit together? So AI is the broad spectrum that encompasses all of this. Inside of that is a subfield called machine learning. There's others, like unsupervised learning, that are not getting a lot of investment because machine learning is where all the insights are being found. And a subset of machine learning is deep learning using neural networks. So if somebody says we use neural networks and deep learning, they just said the same thing twice. And then data science, you essentially take a cross-cut of all these different fields. It's just the method of extracting information from AI so that they can present it to you and take actions. What Observe is doing as a partner of PLDT, with voice analytics, we're creating deep insights into the calls. Not just what people said, not just are they happy or sad, not just what happened on the last call, but we're taking everything about these calls and creating really deep insights. Did they return their product and why? What didn't they like about it? What did they like? What agents are saying the right things that drive better sales? And we're turning these into conversational maps, which then, for the simple tasks, we're turning into automated voice bots. In the past, IVR systems have been promising innovation for the last 20 years, but they're really not that good. We're starting on the other side. We're starting with the insights, and we're actually using real caller questions and real agent responses that yield good results to build that automation automatically. If my internet works, I'm going to show you a demo.
Yeah, well, we've allowed Christian to run away with the tech stuff unabated, and I can see he's really harassed you with all the tech.
Services company. We've upgraded our phone system with observeAI. We hope you'll enjoy the enhanced calling as much as we do. How can I assist you today? You can say things like question about Square installments.
Why is my interest so high?
Thanks for asking about interest. Interest questions are actually best answered directly through your Square dashboard, as all interest inquiries are handled solely via automation. Please visit squareup.com/dashboard for further information. If this answers your questions, we hope you have a great day. Otherwise, how can I help you?
I'm having trouble uploading my documents.
I'd be happy to help with document uploading. Documents must be uploaded either with iOS devices, such as an iPhone or an iPad, or through a computer. Android devices unfortunately do not work for document upload, so if you are using an Android device, please reattempt the upload from a computer. If this answers your questions, we hope you have a great day. Otherwise, how can I help you?
I'm sick of this voice bot. I just want to talk to a person.
Okay, one moment while I get an agent on the line.
This was created from insights, not from a project manager that decided what they think that callers will want. That's what underlines our entire platform, is this voice AI. From there, we get information such as the transcription, emotion and sentiment detection, silence detection. One data point is that 27% across the board of all calls are 10 seconds of silent or greater. Keyword search, natural language processing, which is essentially cleaning up the data to make it readable. And then we put that deep information into use cases, such as augmenting the QA so that rather than a 1:40 ratio of QA agents, they can do 1:70. Voice of the customer. Why are callers returning a product? What is it that they like? What is it that they don't like? Compliance tracking. Are they saying the right thing? Are they not saying the wrong things in the right situations? Things like PII redaction. So we can automatically find when any PII information is spoken and just redact that out and silence it, so that when your QA team is listening to the calls, they're not listening to people's social security numbers. And by finding out when silence is happening, around what context, is it when they're looking up order status information and your CRM or ERP is really slow on that certain situation? We can narrow down, find out why these things are happening, and then drive AHT reduction. Sales conversion. What agents are saying different things that lead to better results on the sales? And this gets displayed via supervisor and analyst dashboards, agent dashboards, so they can actually see what they did on their own calls and receive comments, or other offline reporting. Implementation looks like this. There's a big call center with a lot going on inside of it. What we just care about is the recordings and the metadata. We stream that either real or post-call to our AWS instances, which are geographically diverse. Feeds in real time into our voice AI platform, where we can extract all the information and display it right away on screens, either through our UI or the agent's UI, and stick it to other reporting tools as well. And in the last 6 months, we've launched over 30 enterprise customers. We're partnering with PLDT to do a lot more than that.
Thank you so much, Christian. And now, just want to close this out with a tiny bit of message at the end. Is what does it actually mean, all of this in real world? I mean, people are just going to be wondering, what does it mean in dollar terms? Why did we have that call? What's the value that we're bringing to the table tangibly? Now, the reason we developed the bot, that was actually done for Square. And Square realized that they're spending a lot of money answering redundant questions that actually can be tackled at the preliminary level, right? Having understood that business problem that Square had, we went about providing an innovative solution, which is we first listened to the calls. And as Christian mentioned, it was not out of blue, it was not out of thin air or out of the blue where we woke up on the other side of the bed and we decided, let's ask these questions, and those are supposed to be the answers. We poured over call after call after call, and we realized that we could reduce their costs up to 25% by automating those 3 questions, because a big chunk of people are calling them exactly to get answers to those 3 questions which you heard Christian talk about. So that's the real-time tangible benefit of what Square got. The customer experience improved, the call handling time got reduced, just by ensuring that these top 3 reasons why people call in are tackled through VoiceBot. Another example of trying to listen to the voice of the customer and act on that. Now, you must be aware of Farfetch. It's one of the leading fashion lifestyle retailers in the UK. When we started partnering with Farfetch was having the time of their lives trying to figure out why do they have 33% returns on their products. We went about analyzing the return activity. We broke down returns into understanding of the ordering event. We broke down returns into the product's different descriptives, all of that purely based on what customers were calling and talking about. We helped them do 3 things right. Understand the voice of the customer. We helped them make sense of the returns, what products were being returned, why they were being returned, what's the before and the after of the return activity, all the while ensuring that the customer satisfaction goes north, because we could fine-tune those specific reasons why those returns were being targeted. After 6 months, we could bring down their returns up to 22% from what it actually was. Might not seem a lot on the percentage terms, but it was a substantial deal. And all of that was done just by using a simple system and not a Frankenstein of different product modules put together and everybody raking their brains over it. So one platform, one analyst, and you have tangible results on the return side for Farfetch. So these 2 are the stories that I wanted to talk about before we call curtains on this. Thank you very much, guys. You've been a lovely audience.